Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Ako nga po pala si Warren J. Polistico at ngayon sa inyo ay magta-topic ng patungkol sa crime and criminal, na kung saan ang laging pumapasok sa isipan natin kapag narinig natin ng term na crime and criminals ay mapasok na dito yung mga rape, arson, armed robbery, or murder. These violent crimes are devastating, but they are no less destructive than crimes perpetrated every year by non-violent business criminals, na kung saan tawagin ay white-collar crime. Ano nga ba ang white-collar crime? At sino nga ba ang mga nakapaloob dito? White-collar criminals tend to be highly educated people in positions of power, trust, respectability, and responsibility within a business or organization. They commit illegal acts for personal and organizational gains by abusing the trust and authority normally associated with their position. The victims of white-collar crimes are often trusting consumers who believe business are legitimate. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, a white-collar crime is a non-violent criminal act involving deceit, concealment, subterfuge, and other fraudulent activity. There are some examples of white-collar crime. The corporate executive manipulate the stock market. The tax cheat or the doctor falsely bills Medicaid are also obvious white-collar criminals. But a government official who accepts illegal payments is also a white-collar criminal and guilty of official corruption. Additionally, a corporate executive who approved the illegal disposal of toxic waste is a white-collar criminal guilty of violating environmental regulations. Online white-collar crime is a growing problem around the world because many companies rely on advanced technology systems. Anyone with the ability to hack into a system can access the highly sensitive information necessary to commit white-collar crime. Panoodin po natin ang video ito at sa gayon mas maunawaan pa natin ang white-collar crime.
White-collar crime used to distinguish some crimes from street crimes. White-collar crimes are crimes that are alleged to have been committed by individuals who are professionals, whether they're government employees or in the private sector, who have a high degree of trust or access to information that allows them to commit offenses. As a result, most white-collar prosecutions are seeking not only to punish the individual who committed the crime, deter others from committing similar crimes, but to also seek restitution for the victims. Most allegations of fraud are examples of white-collar crime. Wire fraud, mail fraud, bank fraud are all very common examples of white-collar crimes. Other common examples include healthcare fraud, mortgage fraud, and bankruptcy fraud. But white-collar crimes are not limited to allegations of fraud. They also include things like public corruption, bribery, and money laundering. Most white-collar prosecutions take place at the federal level, although states are increasingly passing laws that allow them to prosecute white-collar crimes as well. Most white-collar cases are complex. It is not at all uncommon for an investigation to take years before a person receives a target letter from a federal prosecutor or gets arrested on a federal warrant. One example of a white-collar crime is money laundering. Money laundering is the act of taking illegitimate funds and making them appear as if they had a legitimate source. The federal government is particularly interested in the use of non-public information for self-gain. That generally falls under the umbrella of insider trading. Agencies like the SEC are particularly interested in investment fraud. This includes things like Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, and market manipulation. Investigations into healthcare fraud often look into a doctor or other medical provider's billing practices. They look for overbilling to the federal government, overbilling to insurance companies, and kickbacks.
situations to gain money. In 2017, the police arrested 2,528 people in connection to white-collar crimes. The FBI groups white-collar crime in three major threat categories: corporate fraud, money laundering, and securities and commodities fraud. Corporate fraud involves schemes designed to deceive investors, auditors, and analysts about the financial condition of the corporation. It can include falsifying financial information, self-dealing by corporate insiders, and fraud connected to otherwise legitimate mutual hedge funds. Money laundering is the process criminals use to make money gained through crime appear to come from a legitimate source. Money laundering puts the illegally gained money or dirty money into a legally operated business, like a laundromat. The dirty money mixes with the money from the laundromat and appears to be gained from there as well, making it clean. Securities and commodities fraud is misrepresenting information in order to make a profit in the financial market. Most common types of securities and commodity fraud are investment fraud, promissory note fraud, commodities, corporate embezzlement, and market manipulation. This includes Ponzi and pyramid schemes.
Makikita natin sa picture nito ang mga common reported internet crimes. Makikita natin dyan ang overpayment fraud, non-action, non-delivery of merchandise, advance fee fraud, identify thief, and FBI-related scams. Yan yung mga example of online white-collar crimes. White-collar crime is increasing steadily. Makikita natin sa table, in 2012, consumer lost more than 1.4 billion due to fraud. A common white-collar offenses can include antitrust violations, computer and internet fraud, credit and card fraud, bankruptcy fraud, healthcare fraud, tax evasion, violating environmental laws, insider trading, bribery, kickbacks, money laundering, and theft of trades. In response to the surge in white-collar crime, the U.S. government stepped up efforts to combat the white-collar crime. The government is concerned about the destabilizing effect of white-collar crime as on U.S. households and the economy in general. The government can charge individuals in corporation for white-collar crime offenses. The penalties include fines, home detention, paying for the cost of prosecution, forfeitures, and prison time. However, sanctions are often reduced if the defendant takes responsibility for the crime and assists the authorities in the investigation. Why do individuals commit white-collar crimes? And why do people engage in white-collar crime? White-collar crime occurs when highly trusted and educated individuals commit criminal misconduct. Two examples of white-collar criminals are Bernard Madoff, who developed one of the largest Ponzi schemes ever, and R. Allen Stanford, who developed an $8 billion certificate of deposit program promising unrealistically high interest rates. Different theories exist why individuals become white-collar criminals. Research shows 1% of business executives may be corporate psychopaths with the predispositions to lie, cheat, and take any other measures necessary to come out ahead. This possibility may account for the fact that many white-collar criminals become entrepreneurs, thus putting themselves in a position to control others. This theory might account for rogue individuals such as Bernard Madoff. Many believe white-collar crime involves then corporate cultures do not have effective oversight and control other individuals' behavior. Such toxic organizational cultures occur when unethical activities are overlooked or even encouraged. For instance, many employees engage in liar loans at countrywide financial because they receive reward for bringing in additional profits. It seems unlikely they all had psychological knowledge. Why do people engage in white collar crime? Number 1. White collar criminals tend to have psychological disorder that encourage misconduct as a route to success. Number 2. White collar crime occurs as a result of organizational cultures that do not effectively control organizational behavior. Makikita natin sa table na ito ang common justification for a white collar crime. 1. Denial responsibility. Everyone can, with verifying degrees of plausibility, point the finger at someone else. 2. Denial of injury. White collar criminals often never met or interact with those who are harmed by their actions. Number 3. Denial of the victim. The offender is playing tit for tat and claims to be responding to prior offense inflicted by the supposed victim. Number 4. Condemnation of the condemners. Executive dispute the legitimacy of the laws under which they are charged, or even in the motives of the prosecutors who enforce them. Number 5. Appeal to higher authority. They say excuses, I did it for my family, remains is a popular excuse. Number 6. Everyone else is doing it. Because of the highly competitive marketplace, certain pressures exist to perform that may drive people to break the law. 7. Entitlement. Criminals simply deny the authority of the law they have broken. The reason for the increase in white-collar crime are not easy to pinpoint because many variables may cause good people to make bad decisions. Business people must make a profit on revenue to exist, a fact that slants their orientation toward theology and creates a culture in white-collar crime can become normalized. The federal sentencing guidelines for organizations state that all organizations should develop effective ethics and compliance programs as well as internal controls to prevent white-collar crime. Yun lamang po ang aking report. Maraming salamat. Nawa kayo'y may natutunan.